Today's objective, like Friday, is to find midpoint and distance using formulas. We're also going to be able to find an endpoint like on number 2. Everything on this warm-up is from your notes, and it'll be on your assignment, and it will be on your test. Right? Doing this? By the way, we were talking about doing a test Tuesday, which would be tomorrow, but we would not have time to review, so we're going to push it to Thursday. Cool? So today we got an assignment. We'll be reviewing Tuesday, finish it up hopefully Wednesday, and then test Thursday. Sound good? So if you haven't been turning in assignments, that'll be part of reviewing, getting that stuff done and turned in. Okay? So number 1, we want to find a midpoint given two endpoints. Okay? Now, the formula's here. The formula's in your notes. Again, we are adding up x's and dividing by 2 if we're given the endpoints. So what are my x values here? 1 and -3. So we add them up. 1 plus -3 divided by 2 to get the x midpoint. Okay? And remember, if you're going to type it in your calculator, press Control Divide so that way we have a fraction. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing. I guess first let's get this value. What is 1 plus -3 divided by 2? -1. And then, for the y's, let's add up those y's and divide by 2. -5 and 7. So again, add them up, divide by 2. -5 plus 7 divided by 2 gives you what? You should get 1, okay? We did 2 of those, 4 of those. We did some of those on Friday, okay? So you should be able to add and divide by 2. Cool? If you're given 2 endpoints. Now, number 2, right? Y'all listening with headphones in your ears? Number 2 is different. It's like number 3 and 4 from our notes from Friday. I want everyone to make sure you're reading these problems because this does not give you 2 endpoints. It gives you 1 endpoint, and it already gives you the midpoint. Okay? There's a couple ways to do these. You can do this mental math. Okay? You can think, what's the difference from -3 up to 1? Adds 4. You could just add 4 again to 1 and get your x value. You could go from 2 up to 5, that's adding 3, add 3 again, get your y value. That's one way you can do it, okay? But the way I showed y'all primarily is the algebraic way, so I'm going to show you that. Okay, so we're given 1 endpoint, so that x value is -3. Again, the endpoint is -3, but the other endpoint, we don't know what it is, okay? I like to call it x comma y. So we're going to do -3 plus, not 1, but x, okay? That's a y. Okay, so again, -3 plus x. Everybody who is going to have to do this on the assignment in a few minutes is paying attention, right? Again, when you don't know the other endpoint, you do -3 plus x divided by 2 equals, and it equals the midpoint value. What's the midpoint x? Midpoint x. 1. Okay, we set up a little algebraic equation from week 1. We should be, theoretically, able to solve this, okay? Again, if you're dividing by 2, what's the opposite? What are we getting rid of? How do we get rid of it? Sorry. Okay, times 2. Times 2. So you always do it on both sides. The 2's cancel out. I'm going to bring down -3 plus x equals 1 times 2 is 2. Now, to get rid of that -3, we're going to add 3 to both sides. 2 plus 3 is 5. So you do that for the x, and then of course now we're going to do it for the y, so we have both x and y. Okay. So the y value is 2. The other endpoint y value is missing, so it's going to be y. 2 plus y over 2 equals the midpoint y, which is 5. So again, this is how we set it up. Endpoint plus endpoint divided by 2 equals midpoint. To get rid of the divided by 2 again, just like last time, times 2 times 2. 2 plus y equals 5 times 2, which is 10. And then to get rid of that 2, we subtract. 10 minus 2 is 8. Now when you're doing these, I don't want you to leave it like that, because the answer is a coordinate pair, x comma y. So let's write it like this, 5 comma 8. Okay? Got that, Jeremy? All right. So you should be able to find a midpoint. We're not done yet. You should be able to find a midpoint. You should be able to find an endpoint and find distance, right? You got it? So for distance, number 3, all you got to do is replace numbers, and then you may type it in, okay, to get the answer. So when we rewrite this, distance equals long square root sign, and I do want you to write what you're typing in, okay? Which one of these numbers is x2? The second x value is over here at 8, minus, and then the x1, the first x value is negative 4. Negative 4. If you like to write it as 8 plus 4, that's fine, because subtracting a negative is like addition. Squared plus parentheses, y2 is negative 1, minus y1, which is 5. Parentheses squared. Okay? So if you can replace the numbers, write it down, then you go to your calculator, type it in, okay? And you can check it, make sure that the square root sign goes all the way to the end of it. Yeah, 13.4. If I'm rounding to the hundredths place, that 6 makes the 1 go up, right? So it's 13.42. All right. So that'll be it. So I'm going to pass out this assignment. It's just like the notes, just like the warm-up. Make sure if you have any questions, you let me know. You should have all this down. Cool.